All right, welcome to Reclaim Your Energy. So, by a show of hands, how many of us wish we had more energy to get the things done that we need? Okay, yeah, everybody. Okay, pretty much everybody, not everyone, but almost everyone. So, well, first of all, let me thank you for being here. Number one, it's just absolutely an honor to share my just kind of my experience and what I've learned over the last 16 years. And my name, of course, is Bonnie Schnautz. I was trained as a naturopathic doctor and digestive health specialist. And I want to introduce Brittany. Brittany, you want to say hi? Brittany is my incredible support system. If you haven't had a chance to meet her, well, I hope you will because she has been such a blessing and she'll be assisting us tonight. So
Hi there,
she'll
everyone.
she'll be helping out as well. And also, I want to introduce Lisa Dittmar. She is a friend, personal trainer, health and longevity coach of Dittmar Fitness, and she's going to be sharing on the exercise component. That is definitely not my area of expertise, so I had to have her jump on and share with you. And that's going to be a really special treat. So I hope you'll stay until the end because I'll be giving away this beautiful, it's $160 worth of wellness products from sunscreen to energy bars to peptides to essential oils to homeopathics. This one's called Elevate. Super fun stuff. So one of you are going to win. So good luck with that. So stay until the end, and we're going to have Q&A at the end as well. So if you have questions as you go, put them in the chat or make a note of them, and we will cover those at the end. So my disclaimer tonight is this information is not to treat or diagnose any disease. It's for education and sometimes it's for entertainment because I can be entertaining at times. So you can ask my some of my family members and maybe Brittany at times. Um, so with that, we're going to start. Let me jump over here and share my screen. Okay, can somebody give me a thumbs up if they can see my screen? You
No,
can see the screen, Dixie?
no,
You can see the 10 simple steps? Does everybody see that?
I don't.
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me try it again here. I think I ran into this before. Okay, we're going to share. There we go. How's that? Now you can see it? You got it now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for letting me know. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it in presentation mode. Okay, I'm going to allow, hopefully that's good. Okay, there we go. And Brittany, if you can shoot me a text or a message and let me know if that all looks good, or just say yes, that would be great.
Yes, all looks good.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so this is 10 simple steps to reclaim your energy. And what I've learned is as I've aged, I will be 64 in just a couple weeks. So that our energy seems to fade as we get older. Why is that? Well, we know there's a lot of reasons, but it doesn't always have to diminish or it doesn't have to diminish at the rate that most people think is normal. And I say there's a difference between normal and common. It can be very common, but it's not necessarily normal at the rate that we deplete our energy. So, with that, I want to give you some strategies for that and how you can help retain as much of that energy as you can so you can continue to just really live the life that you want to live, and that maybe if you're a believer like I am, the life that God intended you to have. So Let's go ahead and okay. So these are the 10 premises. And really there's probably a few more, but I tried to condense it. There's so many. And we have a lot to cover in a short time. So whole food, hydration, FSA, and I call that fun, sweaty activity because you know what? Not many people like the word exercise, and I'm probably one of those. Power down, stressing less, caffeine, sugar, all those culprits. We're going to talk about less is more, and that pertains to several things in life. Supplements, screen time stress, that's creating a lot of stress in our body, and then breathing or breath and meditation, those things. So, this is one of my favorite quotes at the bottom. Do you not know that your bodies are temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? So, I truly believe that our body is a temple, but sometimes we may not treat it as one. Would you agree? Um, so let's define whole clean food. A lot of times, when I see female clients and I ask them, or I may not even, I don't really come out and ask them, they'll tell me, like, oh, I eat really healthy. I hear that all the time. And when I see a food log, and what's happened is that the media, or maybe even the FDA, has defined what's healthy, when in reality, it's really not. So let's define whole, clean food because this is really, this is our fuel. This is our source, right? Of our energy, one of the sources, not all of them. So it's straight from nature, fruits, vegetables, greens, nuts, and seeds. I say that all day long. What should you be eating? Fruits, vegetables, greens, nuts, and seeds, right? And those complex carbohydrates as well. However, they need to be without pesticides, herbicides, and GMOs, because a lot of times women come to me and they're eating very much whole food. But if it's conventional, let's take my perfect example is chicken. Chicken from a restaurant or conventionally raised chicken is loaded with pesticides and herbicides from the grain that it's been consuming. It also contains genetically modified organisms from the grain. Plus, it's been injected with hormones, growth hormones, because we need those chicken breasts to be as big as possible so we can make as much money as possible when we sell them. And then we're going to overconsume, right? Because we're eating servings that are 2 and 3 times what we should be consuming. So all that means those, especially those GMOs, the genetically modified organisms, are creating leaky gut. The hormones are disrupting our hormones. We're seeing young girls start their cycles younger and younger, which means their rates of cancer are higher and higher the earlier they start. So this creates a vicious circle. So eating whole food and eating whole clean food are two different things. So we want like those pasture raised chickens and those pasture raised eggs where they're eating the bugs and the grasses and the real things that is fueling their body naturally, not the chemicals. So again, any type of animal product. Now, if it's fish, you're going to want or I'm sorry, not farm raised, you want wild caught. Because take a salmon, for example, if it's raised in a farm environment, it's going to be fed genetically modified grain. So it gives it and they put artificial colors in it to give it a kind of an artificial pink color. Because unless it's eating shrimp and krill and all the other natural foods that salmon would eat, it's not going to turn pink. So they have to add artificial colors along with those genetically modified grains that are disrupting our gut. So, again, reducing bags and boxes. I don't care if it's organic, we have to get away from those. Grown locally and organically and as raw as possible. Again, this does not pertain to meat because there's, of course, high rates of parasites when you're eating raw, especially raw sushi, raw seafood, things like that. So, and there's a very small percentage of people that can handle that. Most of us are accumulating a lot of parasites, and we're not doing a parasite cleanse to kind of reset. But so there are some things, of course, you can do a parasite cleanse, and then there are supplements that can help you keep them out of your system once you've cleansed. So that's kind of where I'm at in my journey. So raw live pertains to fruits, vegetables, and greens, eating as much raw as possible because of those live enzymes. Live enzymes are protein catalysts. They're responsible for every metabolic process in our body. Without them, you will die. Literally, there was a study done, it was 10 years, 900 cats, and these cats died literally because they were eating all cooked food, cooked meat, cooked milk. That is not their native diet. That's not how we thrive. So it is so important. And a really super easy way to get that in the morning is to have a green smoothie. So you're getting your greens, you're getting your fruit in there. If you know, if you mix those, some people do, some people don't, some people are purist, it doesn't matter. But getting those in and getting those live enzymes are critical for every aspect of our health. So less toxins means more energy because this is putting so much stress on our kidneys and our liver and our other organs. And where do we store? We store toxins in our fat. And what that does, it stores it there intentionally to protect our vital organs. So again, making sure, and a lot of times when I go to a restaurant, if I can't get wild caught fish, I become a vegetarian because I don't typically eat conventional meat in a restaurant. Every once in a while, but I try not to. Again, it's kind of that 80-20 rule or 90-10, whatever rule you want to follow, but just doing as much as you can. And there are enzymes that can clear or supplements that can clear out those toxins too. So ask me about those if you're interested. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, because I will. So incorporating that organic local food, again, it doesn't have to be certified. If you know your farmer sprays or uses very, very little, you know what? Sometimes that's the best we can do. It's not going to be perfect, but I'd rather have from a farmer that has used a minute amount than buy commercially grown because they're going to use massive amounts because they're producing in mass quantities. Okay, so reduce your toxic load because if not, your body is struggling to digest and filter, and there's not going to be much energy left for you at the end of the day. And something I always ask my clients is to think about, we're not going to, don't think of terms of calories. That's out the window. No points. That went away a long time ago. And you may have lost weight using those points, but it's not a healthy, balanced diet necessarily. And thinking instead of how does food make you feel? It should make you feel light and energized. So that's what I ask my clients. Do you feel light and energized? So if you're eating beans or something like heavier meat, like dark meats or heavier fat meats, not that fat is a bad thing, that's a good thing, but depending on what type of fat, but those are things that you have to recognize in your body, which enzymes, which macros you're not breaking down, that whether that's fats, carbs, or proteins. And once you know that, we can kind of assign that perfect enzyme for you. And we do that through 24-hour urinalysis testing. So, okay. See if there's anything else before we go to step number 2, which is hydration. This one really opens a lot of people's eyes because when I do the 24-hour urinalysis, so many women are over consuming water. Yes, believe it or not, it's true. A lot of women are. And so first of all, water doesn't give you the energy, but it helps your cells function to transport the nutrients and remove waste. So if we're having regular bowel movements, like what does it feel like when you haven't had normal, 1 to 2 bowel movements a day? Kind of that. It's a very heavy feeling. It's not energizing. And those nutrients, if they're not getting trained, if they're not being driven into the cell or fed into the cells, because your cells aren't permeable, then you're not being fed, right? Where it's kind of we're over consuming and we're nutrient deficient and we're still overweight. We're kind of starving to death and still overweight because those nutrients can't get into the cells. So drinking enough water, we've heard that, oh, drink a gallon. And there was that big fad where people were buying these huge water bottles. And I was just, it was making me absolutely crazy. I'm glad that fad is over because people were drinking way too much water. And what that does, it stresses your kidneys, it dilutes your minerals out. Now, how I tell people to gauge, because it's really based on your weight and other factors, your exercise level, drink until your urine is almost clear, right? That's number one. Number two, eat your water. If you're eating fruits and vegetables in the proper quantities, they contain minerals and water for the perfect balance of water and minerals, right? That's why we have to add it back in our water. We add minerals in, like electrolytes, right? Those are so important. But the key is finding the proper electrolyte or the good electrolyte. There's so many junk ones on the market. And Facebook and social media is inundated with junk. And every day people tell me, oh, I'm using blah, blah, blah. I won't use the acronyms, but I'm like, that's table salt. It's not a quality form of sodium. And the sodium levels are astronomical. It's not in the proper portion. And then there's the one on the retail shelf. I forget what that one's called, liquid IV. The first ingredient is sugar. These things, it drives me crazy. So you have to learn to read the ingredient labels and discern before you just jump in and start using something and putting something in your system that can throw you further off. And we'll talk about that in the supplement. So, consuming water rich fruits and vegetables reduces the amount you need to drink during the day. So, how much easier is that, right? To eat your water. So, what we also see is women this constant thirst, and that is caused by an overconsumption of simple carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates are they're white bread, white rice, pasta, chips, crackers, alcohol, all the simple carbohydrates. And sugar pulls water out of your system and it creates an insatiable thirst. And also, of course, it creates constipation, right? So that's a double-edged sword. If you're drinking too much and you're drinking constantly, then you're getting up in the middle of the night, you're disrupting your sleep. And everybody says, well, as we get older, it's gonna happen. That's normal. It's not normal. It's common. It's not normal. So again, we want you to be able to sleep. Typically I sleep through the night, not every single night, but most nights I do sleep through the night. But I know if I've drank alcohol, if I have one drink, it'll wake me up. So that's something to think about. So again, especially finding the proper hydration because of constipation issues, we've got to keep the colon rolling. Okay, so 1 to 2 bowel movements a day is what we want to work towards. Okay. So, exercise or fun, sweaty activity. So, exercise doesn't have to mean going to the gym, to be honest. You can play tennis, you can play pickleball, you can play golf. There's a lot of other things you can do. You can dance. So, it doesn't have to be a grueling, you need to find what brings you joy. And those are things that I've had to work towards. I love to walk. I could walk for hours. Like, that is my thing. So, that makes me happy. There's other things I like to do. I won't go into that, but find what you actually enjoy. And if you sit for your job or you just sit naturally during the day, get up at least every 2 hours, if not alternate every hour. Create a daily habit to walk, preferably first thing in the morning. Why? Because a lot of our health issues, and we're not recognizing it, the medical doctors aren't, is that we're so deprived of sunlight. We need that circadian rhythm, that there's so much artificial light in our environment that we need that sunlight to hit our eyes first thing in the morning or as early as possible. So I always tell people, get rid of the sunglasses, let your eyes hit the sun and absorb that. And if you, at the same time, if you can take your shoes off and put your feet on the ground and ground at the same time, so therapeutic. But anyways, okay, we won't go off too much there. So, and if you don't know, the number one cure for depression is physical and activity. I had clinical depression for several years, didn't even know it. And the hardest thing in the world was for me is to get up and move. So I think that's where it's that catch 22, right? We know what we need to do, but sometimes it's virtually impossible. And that's where you have like a friend or a family member that loves you enough that says, hey, come on, get up, get dressed, we're going to move. And it's even more impactful and effective than prescription medication. Now, this is not to go off your prescription medications. If you are on an antidepressant, please work with whoever puts you on them. before you ever consider going off, because you do have to go through a weaning off cycle. But know that there is so much power in that. So it releases endorphins, again, just so much, the circulation, your energy, right? And just things like take the stairs, not the elevator, park away from your destination. There's so many things you can do. So now I am going to have, oh, and this quote by Brendan Burchard is one of my favorites. The power plant does not have energy, it has to generate it. So we can't just wake up in the morning. And of course, we do have more energy in the morning, right? If we had proper sleep and we ate well the day before, yada, yada, we didn't drink too much alcohol, all those things. But we do have to create that energy. So, anyways, I'm going to reintroduce Lisa Zitmar, and she is going to cover the benefits of lifting weights. And she is a, like I said, health and longevity coach, personal trainer, and she specializes in women going through menopause. So Lisa, if you can take it from here, I so appreciate you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. We talked about, you're talking about gaining energy and through exercise. And we all know that you gain energy when you're exercising, but sometimes it's getting to the point of actually exercising, this hurdle that you need to get over when you have not exercised in a while. And so I thought that sometimes for me, if I know why something will work for me, it helps me actually take the step to do it. So I'm going to list out a couple of reasons why exercise is so important, especially as our hormones are changing in peri and postmenopause. So I'm just going to list a couple of things off the bat. First and foremost is independence for our future. It's keeping that strength going so that we don't become frail and don't have to depend on other people to help take care of us as we age. Improving balance, even protecting ourselves if we do fall, improving our bone health, metabolic health, as muscle burns far more calories than fat does. Your cognitive function, of course, with that blood flow that's going to your brain, that oxygen moving through your body, that is opening up your vessels and helping things move much better, especially when it comes to your brain health. Hormones are released, and those are the ones that are the feel-good hormones, like Bonnie was just saying, with that feeling of depression, getting out of that loop and moving your body. Actually, you are releasing the hormones that are going to help you. They're little painkillers. They can be the reward hormone that helps you set those little mini goals that get you to the next day of working out. And community and social, which is so important. I have a sister who works out doing water aerobics, and she meets her friend there, and they do it consistently, and they laugh and have a good time, and that keeps her on track. And I think that that's a big piece of it that sometimes we forget about doing. So that accountability and the fun that goes along with it. So I love your FSA. So up to your boost metabolism and fat loss, absolutely. That lean muscle is going to burn calories while you're just sitting there, whereas fat does nothing. It just hangs out. So your body has to burn calories to maintain that lean muscle mass. So the more lean muscle mass you have, that is one of the keys to longevity right there, along with that social side of it for the mental side. Balancing hormones, improving mood, absolutely, with the hormones that are released. And then on the strengthening bone and preventing injury, of course. And I'm going to get into that in just a moment on what we have to do while we're in peri and postmenopause to make that actually happen as we lose estrogen. But as in regards to energy, the mitochondria, that's the powerhouse of the cell. And as your estrogen decreases, that powerhouse also kind of loses its energy too. And so we have to use that exercise to be more efficient at producing that energy within that powerhouse. And so that's why it's so important for you to continue moving so that you can become efficient at producing that energy that you need, that is going to get you through your day and not lead to the mental negativity that we can face with it. Boosting circulation, that oxygen flow, that higher the heart rate as you exercise, it's really dilating those vessels, and that's getting that blood flow to go through your lungs to open up, and that reduces fatigue. And that's very important. So if you think about Well, have you ever been told if you were sitting at your desk for a long time and you get kind of cold and you're feeling a little blah, then somebody says, oh, just go do 10 jumping jacks. It's so much better. Has anybody ever been told that? Because I say it a lot. It's important that we get up and move. And the whole reason why your watch goes off or your ring goes off and tells you, hey, you might want to get up and stretch your legs. It's because your vessels are all just getting closed up and just feeling low. Your oxygen lowers. You're not being efficient in how your body is being regulated at that time. So it wants you to get up and move. It wants that blood flow is healing. It's good for your mind and your body. And so it's reminding you to get up. That's why it reminds you to get up. It helps with your sleep. It helps reduce stress. If you're working out in a way that you are focusing on what you're doing, trying to get through those last couple of reps, you're not thinking about the traffic that you went through to get where you're going. You're not thinking about the coworker that drove you crazy today. You're not thinking about having to make dinner. You're focusing on just getting through your workout. And so if you're working out appropriately, you are going to be relieving that stress, leaving it at the door. And then when you come back to it, sometimes it's not as bad as what it was before you started working out. Let's see, let me get into the central nervous system piece of it. How are we doing on time, Bonnie? Are we good?
We got like
Okay.
2 or 3 minutes. We're good.
Okay. As you age and you go through peri and postmenopause, your estrogen starts to decline in perimenopause, so right around your mid-30s. And then when you hit menopause, estrogen pretty much jumps off a cliff. And so estrogen is it's key in helping your muscle contract. And there's a whole lot that goes into that, but keeping it pretty simple. When we lose that estrogen, we have to find a new way to build muscle, to build lean muscle. And so that is done through triggering the central nervous system. And so the way to do that is in lifting heavy weights. And so you've probably heard that phrase being thrown around a lot, especially over the last couple of years, lift heavy weights, lift heavy weights. And people get a little bit nervous about that. The number one reason why women are not working out sometimes is because they're afraid they're going to get injured, or they're afraid of an injury that they already have and it's going to become worse. So my first piece of advice right there would be to please invest in yourself and your health and hire a good personal trainer that is close to your age, that understands what you're going through and can make sure that your form is spot on while you're doing your work. And so that way you can progressive overload over time and get stronger without getting injured or staying as far from injury as you can. So to trigger the central nervous system, when you lift weights, you need to stress the muscle, which stresses the tendon that attaches the muscle to the bone. So it's doing 2 things for you right there. It's telling your brain, when you put the stress on that muscle by lifting heavy enough, it's telling the brain, hey, something's happening to the muscle down here. And something's happening to the bone too. And so then the bone, you start laying down bone that way. You start modeling bone. And that's incredibly important as we're getting older and through peri and postmenopause, because we begin losing lean muscle mass and we begin losing bone density right around the age of 30. So don't panic. If you're over the age of 30, you can build the lean muscle and you can build the bone density at any age. I've seen a study where over 90, above the age of 90, there was a study with people that did a 6-week strength training program, and they increased their lean muscle and they increased their bone density by doing the strength training. So it is definitely, you can do it at any time. So don't hesitate if you're thinking about kind of getting into it. But again, you got to go into it the right way. So stressing your muscle, lifting enough. And what does that mean? That means that if you're starting out, it means body weight. It means just doing your squats or your planks or just overhead reaches. If you are lifting weights, it means I typically start people out at 12 to 15 reps for a couple of sets, whereas at number 12, they're starting to struggle a little bit with good form. If they can go above 15 reps, that means that the weight is too light for them. I want to get it to where they're struggling, a little bit of a struggle where it's very challenging at number 12. Progressive overload is where you do that for a period of weeks and you're feeling really good, and now you can shoot through that number 15, and now we increase your weight a little bit so that you're back down to being challenged at number 12. that's pretty much how I go through that progressive overload with my clients, and so that they're putting enough stress on. But if we're just lifting that 5 or 8 pound weight at the gym for 3 sets of 12, and then we're done with our workout and we go on our way, we're not helping our bodies the way that we need to be doing right now during peri and postmenopause. Because again, if you're not increasing or maintaining that lean muscle, you're continuing to lose it.
Okay, excellent. Lisa, thank you so much. That was so, so helpful. And sometimes it's kind of scary, right? Thinking that this starts at 30.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And I know we're gonna have questions at the end for you. So hopefully you can hang out here for a little bit longer. Okay, so we've got at least six more slides to go through. So I want to talk about power down and restore. So make sure this is about sleep, and sleep is part of our sleep is restorative, right? Making sure you're getting that 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted quality sleep. Creating a consistent sleep and wake routine. Are you going to sleep at the same time each night? So important for your body. And before 10 p.m., preferably. Why 10 p.m.? Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is the restorative time of when your body regenerates. So that's when we want to be asleep. And creating a power down hour because of the blue light that comes from our screens, very, very disruptive to sleep. If you are on this thing until the minute you go before you go to sleep, that is going to be disruptive. So put your phones away and put them in the next room. Especially do not sleep with them right next to your nightstand. Do not charge them next to your nightstand because the massive amounts of EMFs, and I'm talking massive, I have a reader and it will tell me like how much comes off a phone when you are in charge mode. You do not want to be talking on your phone in charge mode or have it near your head at night. And television's the same thing, very disruptive to your sleep. Some people say, oh, I can only fall asleep to the television. You may think that's a good way, but it's really, really not. Your room should be dark. And, again, no night lights, not even for children. Again, that can be disruptive. We have to think about, in the days, years and years ago, we went to sleep when it was dark. We woke up when it was light. We need to get closer to that cycle because lack of sleep means craving external resources for energy. We overeat, we overdrink, caffeine, whatever that looks like. We're always looking for those external sources, and that creates excess weight and it doesn't support our energy. So, for women, especially in menopause, like Lisa was saying, we're different, right? Fasting in the morning is not a good thing for us at all. If you want to fast and really support weight loss, stop eating after like 6 or latest 7 p.m. if you have a schedule that doesn't allow you. So you can either rest and rebuild as because you want that food digested before you even get close to going to bed. And that's where we're either resting, rebuilding, regenerating, or you're digesting. You can't do both. And that's not happening when you're constantly, eating late at night. So fasting for us, a good thing is to stop eating in the evening, not in the morning. We need that fuel in the morning. So during deep sleep, a lot of functions take place, like memories consolidated, learning, emotions are processed, physical recovery, that's that regeneration. Blood sugar levels, metabolism is balanced, the immune system is energized, the brain detoxes. So, and really think about what's going in your head before you go to bed. Are you watching or reading murder mayhem books? Are you watching a lot of negative news or, death and mayhem, television shows, violence, and or engaging in really difficult conversations, like those heavy things? Don't do those before you go to bed because that's what's going to be filed and consolidated, and you really don't want that. What I do at the end of the day is I keep a journal and I write at least 5 to 10 things that were good that happened that day, and that's what I leave in my mind when I go to sleep at night. So Um, Something else that happens is a lot of us get inverted. Our cortisol and our melatonin get flipped. So that's when you're laying in bed and you get the wired and tired. And, we should have high cortisol in the morning to help you wake up, right, and get energized. And then the melatonin should be low, lower in the morning. So, and it should increase in the evening to help you wind down. So again, when those get flipped, you can guarantee you're on a path to adrenal stress or adrenal fatigue. I've been there twice, so unfortunately, waking up between 2 and 4 can be a sign, always feeling anxious and restless, waking up groggy, even though you had 7 to 9 hours of sleep, constant brain fog, low energy, sugar cravings, overconsumption of caffeine, etc. So it can be, adrenal fatigue can be very dangerous. So don't underestimate it. Like I said, I've helped a lot of women. I've been through it myself. Just really seek help for that. Something I do use, and a lot of us here do use, is adaptogens, and we'll talk about this under the supplement category. But taking this before you go to bed, it's a little or powder pack. You just pop it under your tongue. You don't have to drink a bunch of water. It really helps. Okay, so next is stress less. Easier said than done living in the world today. But what we want to consider are the 3 types of stress. And number one, if you're stressed in any of these, your body requires 2 to 3 times the amount of nutrients. So with that, we can't eat 3 times as much, right? So that's when we'll need to possibly supplement. And I prefer whole food supplementation when possible, or again, like using a green smoothie or a fruit smoothie to get those extra nutrients in your diet. So, and most people at certain points in their life will have all 3. So emotional, we know what that is. That's life, right? Living in the world today, we've got a lot. We've got family, we've got friends, we've got death, death, divorce, and moving are like those top emotional components that we deal with, politics, like all the stuff. And then chemical nutritional are all about excesses and deficiencies. We're not consuming enough of the things we should, we're over consuming the things we should not. So, and then number 3 is physical, which could be surgeries, car accidents, falls, and those type of things, which put a lot of stress and again, demand. If you've had a baby, you need 2 or 3 times the amount of nutrients. So many young moms will come to me and like, oh, I've got this or that. I'm like, your baby's taken everything. Like you gave birth and now you're breastfeeding. Like there's not a lot left and they're not eating enough to, sustain the baby's fine typically, but they're not doing very well. And that's why. So you can reduce the stress to your digestive system by, of course, clean eating and taking a digestive enzyme. If you're over 40, you take prescription medications, drink alcohol, eat processed foods, like you're like, yeah, we do all that. Most people, then you need those enzymes. Enzymes, again, are those protein catalysts, and they support getting the food into the nutrients into the cells so you can have that energy. They are the catalysts. That's why they're called protein catalysts. Okay, number 6, limiting caffeine and sugar. Sugar and caffeine both leach calcium. Number one, that's something that a lot of times we're not thinking about. We just think, oh, sugar's bad. But why is it bad? Well, it creates inflammation in the body. We know that, right? But really, caffeine is fine in moderation. Having, and they say, 1 cup of organic coffee. And I say organic. That's me. Organic coffee in the morning. Not using those plastic K cups there because that plastic is heated up and leached into your coffee. Put it in a good old fashioned mug, and having that I think it's perfectly fine for those that can tolerate. If you're having any sleep disturbances, I'm going to recommend that you go off all caffeine for a week and see if that impacts your sleep positively. So not everyone can tolerate caffeine, and there's different types of caffeine that are more disruptive than others. So again, caffeine leaches calcium from the bone. If you're over 40, we already have, like Lisa said, or 30, we already have a deficit. So we've got to look at, preventing osteoporosis and osteopenia. I had both of those. I was able to reverse them. I've helped clients reverse them. So it can be done. So again, coffee can be very acidic, sugar is very acidic, it will disrupt our pH. If our pH is off, again, we look at that in urinalysis testing. That means that you're not digesting, and that's going to create that whole cycle. So sugar also can suppress immune system. It creates feelings of anxiety. There is a direct correlation if you have anxiety about your sugar consumption. Again, alcohol, as we have here, including wine, energy drinks, stimulants, all those things can impact your level of stress and anxiety. Okay, less is more. So most of us are overeating just by the nature of living in a country of abundance, right? And go to a restaurant, everything is supersized. It's absolutely ridiculous. And eating smaller meals again will help maintain our blood sugar, and drinking, obviously, those green smoothies is very digestible. That's an easy way to get more compact food, and it's easier to assimilate. And downsizing, it says downside, but it's downsizing to a salad plate. My husband and I, for 22 years, we use salad plates. We don't have dinner plates, believe it or not. If you come to our house, you're going to eat off a salad plate. So it helps the looking at your plate, it gets full a lot faster when it's smaller, right? So there's the, that, I'm eating enough concept with that kind of tricking yourself. We share meals when dining out. Eating a salad before meals helps cut your caloric intake by typically it's about 15%. You'll eat that much less. Plus, if you're eating a salad or raw fruits and vegetables, you're getting in live food, which contain enzymes, which further support and increase your ability to assimilate nutrients and increase your energy. So again, if you're going to an unhealthy food event, and we have lots of them, birthday parties, birthday party, weddings, just all kinds of events, carry-ins, here in South Carolina, it's everything is about a food event. And a lot of things are fried. And so I've learned to eat or drink, if I'm on the go, I may have to drink a shake or maybe a protein bar, or I just eat something before I leave. That means I can pick things that are just healthier for me, that I don't feel like, oh, I had to eat it. I hear that a lot. I look at food logs. Well, I had to eat it. I was at a birthday party. Well, no, you really didn't. Same thing if you're traveling. People tell me all the time, oh, well, I had to go to fast food. Well, there's usually a grocery store pretty close to a fast food restaurant. So run in and grab an apple, or, an orange or a banana or something that you can use in place, or even a yogurt that's not full of sugar would be a much better option. So, and my key tip here is eat until you are satisfied. If you eat until you are full, you've consumed too much. And again, over consuming is going to put stress on your digestive system, and you're going to lack energy. And again, you're over consuming calories that your body does not need. Okay, see where I am at on time here. Supplements. Okay, got a few minutes left. So, digestive enzymes. I put these, I thought of what if I could give you the most important enzymes or most important supplements that you could take, even if you haven't tested. I'm pretty adamant about testing to know, because again, you can create massive disruptions in your body just by throwing stuff into your system because Aunt Sally or your well-meaning neighbor or the 3,000 people on social media and TikTok told you that you should have it. You can really do more damage than good by just throwing stuff into your system. Digestive enzymes, again, you know the story. Over 40, drink alcohol, take prescriptions, over the counters, processed foods. You need enzymes. You are lacking. I don't know that I've found anybody that I've tested that is not lacking or stressed in an area, either proteins, fats, or carbs. And if you start to throw those out of balance, it's gonna disrupt long term your body, and that could lead to chronic disease. So don't underestimate the power of enzymes in your body. Electrolytes are number two. Again, finding one without sugar, using table salt, a balanced ratio of the sodium, potassium, all those is so critical. And we have a fantastic one. from our peptide company that I love. And we've had some doctors and really high caliber healthcare professionals test it, and they were blown away. So I feel very good about what I recommend in electrolyte, because there's not a lot of good ones out there. Magnesium. Our food is so deficient. It's what help keeps us calm, right? So finding a good, I use a magnesium glycinate complex from, it's a healthcare professional grade. I believe it's called Claire Labs. So about 100 milligrams, 1 to 3 times a day, again, depending on what your needs are. Adaptogens. Those adaptogens are supplements that they kind of read your body. So they can either give you energy or they can help calm you down. And I'm a huge, huge fan of adaptogens, especially having a history of adrenal fatigue. And that's where I'm a big fan of like L-theanine and GABA. I have a GABA cream that can stop a panic attack in like 15 minutes. Like those are my go-tos. And this, the Calm product has that's the only ingredients in it, has four adaptogens, which is ashwagandha, lemon balm, GABA, and L-theanine. And when I saw this, I was like, I am in, give me one of these. You can take it while you're driving on the interstate, Highway 26. Always keep these in your purse if you're driving on 26. Or you can take it before you go to bed. It's not going to make you drowsy. It's just going to give you, it's going to balance. So if you're like this, it's going to help you, just balance your nervous system. So I love those. Number 5, peptides. We don't have time to go into those, but some of my favorites I'll say is, it's called FIT. It is to rebuild, repair muscle, and to reduce inflammation. This is my go-to. I've got more, but we'll stay there. And if we have time at the end and you have questions, we'll jump into those. Vitamin D3, K2, again, know your levels. Super important, and especially in the winter. Again, I'm not a fan of sunglasses. You need to get out. You need that sunlight in your eyes. You need the sunlight on your skin. Ditch the sunscreen, especially the toxic stuff. That's why I gave you a good one in my gift box here, whoever's going to be the lucky winner. And of course, probiotics and prebiotics. I was going to add that one in. Fatty acids, EPA and DHA, get those in your food, but you may have to supplement. We have a new fatty acid test I'm taking this week. I'm testing myself. I'm super excited about it. It's easy. It's a finger prick. You can do it from home, mail it in, get the results, and it's going to give you a wealth of information that will impact your hormones, your brain function, your skin, hair, nails, everything that we need fatty acids for, and especially to help protect our memory as we see rates of dementia and Alzheimer's hitting pretty high. So okay, I'm going to skip this just because we're out of time. We'll send all the links to what you need at the after this call. So that'll probably be tomorrow, but we'll send everything. We talk about, just getting a quality supplement, not buying from Amazon. Amazon's a lot of what you're buying. They're finding they're tampered with. They have not been in controlled environments from heat, which completely destroys the efficacy. So we talked about screen time. We talked about power down hour. I won't go into a lot of that. Red light therapy is something I use. I use PEMF, I use infrared, and I use red light. And that stimulates the mitochondria in the cells, and they're responsible for, again, like Lisa said, producing energy, and also regulates melatonin. So I use red light and PEMF in the morning, and I use it again at night. Morning to energize, at night to help me sleep, because of our artificial light is very disruptive. Okay. Taking breaks, I think this is all, we know this: massage therapy, calming the nervous system, deep breathing, exercise, walking. This is a really cool, if you haven't done your own personal assessment to measure your level of stress and or happiness, this QR code here is great. Again, we'll send this out to you. You can run your own test. You can see what's causing your anxiety, and what your kind of score is on a score of 1 to 100. The first time I did mine, it was in the 30s. I was devastated. And then since then, I've been working on myself for several years. And I think my last score, they say a really good score is like 75. I think I that's where I was like right in the mid 70s. So not perfect and life happens, but anyways. I always say choose your hard, right? We have, what's hard is surgery and medications and doctor's appointments and high medical bills and learning issues and skin issues and always sick and sleep issues. Those things are hard. A lot of the stuff I talked about, you can't do it overnight. You've got to implement slow. And that's where we walk you through the process, whether you can do it on your own. We have a self-guided program. You can do it with us privately, and you can do it with us in a group format. It just depends on your personal preference and your budget and what that looks like. Because your choices are, again, living pain-free, having mental clarity, stable moods, dying young as late in life and possible as possible is our goal, right? Rarely being sick, sleeping sound, having energy, being truly happy and fulfilled. Those are the things that you can all achieve, and we want to help you get there. Okay, so next steps. I'm going to talk for just a minute about, I talked about those three options. Right now, we do have our, those options are self-guided program, which is brand new. We are literally just launching it this Friday, so we're kind of in pre-launch. That is a $97 one-time fee. You get 8 modules, 51, I believe, resources, videos, handouts. The post launch, or once it launches, it will be 197. But we're giving anybody that wants to jump in early, and that is you have through Friday if you want to take advantage of that early bird pricing, the $97. It's literally a lifetime, or as long as I'm alive and have access to it. And you also get added to a private Facebook group for access to us so we can answer your questions so you're not alone. And then Plan B is the Reclaim Your Energy community where we have live consulting at least twice a month. And then you have the private group, you have all the self-guided part of it, but we'll be going through that with you. That price is the $197 a month. We do ask that you hang in there for at least 3 months to get through the program. And again, that's a pre-launch price. And after Friday, that will be, instead of 197, it will be 297. So if that resonates with you, again, let us know, or we will send that information out to you. And as always, this is a free consulting link. If you've not met with me before, take 20 minutes. It's a phone call. You can get your private, questions answered privately, see if any of these make sense to you, or we can go a different route. I have a lot of different options and access to thousands of different tests that help you along the way. So, Brittany has the links again that she will send out tomorrow. And now we are going to go into a Q&A. So I'm going to stop the screen share. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, we definitely went over. But I hope you will, first we'll do the giveaway. So if you need to go, we'll give away that prize package, and then we will go right into the Q&A. Does that sound good? Oh, she's ready.
I
Okay,
am.
are you
And
ready?
the link is also in the chat. So if anybody wants to grab it from the chat before they go, they can do that as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for
Okay.
sharing those. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I believe I kept adding people in there. So I think everybody should be in. Let's see. I'm going to hit spin.
Drum roll, drum roll. Who wants to win? Yay, Megan wants to win. Yay. Anybody else? Jody
And
wants to win. Joy wants
the
to
winner
win.
is Jen J. I'm not sure last
Who's
name is
Jen
there, but
J?
Jen
Where's she
there.
at?
It says Love Wins on her little picture there.
Where's Jen? Jen, can you unmute? Is that Jen Jolly? Is that you? I'll have to go to the second screen. Jen, are you there?
Oh, she's in the chat. She says, "Oh my, it's me."
Is that you, Jen Jolly? Okay, well, send us your email. Congratulations. You've got some really, really fun stuff. You've got protein, you've got sunscreen, you've got essential oils, you've got some salted caramel energy bars that are really delicious. So, yay, congratulations, Jen. That's awesome. Okay, so it sounds like there were some questions that you ladies, there's gentlemen out here, I apologize, added into the chat. Brittany, can you read those to
Yes.
us? Or if you want to unmute and ask yourself, please do.
Okay. I'll get started, but if anybody wants to jump in, the latest question we just got was, what sunscreen do you recommend?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of good ones out there. The one I am giving away, and again, there's no perfect one. Um, and honestly, I'm not a big, should I really say this out loud? Yes, I'm not a big proponent of sunscreen.
I don't use it
I
either.
think there's a time and place if you're going to be, I mean, if you're going to be out on the beach in the sun for hours, yes. But I think it's super important that you get at least 20 minutes minimum of no sunscreen. The sun is not the devil. Although people, I think, especially more the medical community wants us to believe. Now, if you're super concerned, I'm probably not real concerned about, like, oh, the wrinkles or the sunspots. I'm like, and I do a little bit, but anyways, the one I have is doTERRA. There's, if you go on to, I think there's some on Fullscript. So this just happens to be the one I use on occasion now. But like I said, there's so many. And if you guys have one, a brand that you use, like I said, that's probably not something I'm a big fan. Just make sure it is as clean as possible. It's a mineral based. Um, and yeah, so, and like I said, if you guys have brands, please share with each other. That's, like I said, I'm not really good at sunscreen. Okay, what else do you have?
Okay, there are a couple in the chat too that have been put in. Okay, supplements that help clear toxins or a specific cleanse to clear toxins.
Yeah, oh, my favorite, without a doubt, is it's Des Bio, healthcare professional only. It's called the OmniCleanse. It's 6 homeopathic tinctures, and this is the only one that I found that clears, like, so many of our toxins are crossing the blood-brain barrier, which is so dangerous. So it clears the brain, the spinal cord, like the intercellular matrix. There's 6 different areas it clears. Of course, the meridians, like everything, every aspect of the body, and it comes with a drink beverage, and it comes with capsules, and it runs around $200-ish. Don't quote me on any of that, but it's going to be in the 200 mark. It doesn't hit 300, so somewhere in there. But it will last you. You'll probably, with the tinctures, you'll get like 2 detoxes from it. The drink mix and the capsules only last 30 days. The drink mix is delicious, and a lot of my clients stay on it. I do too. I cycle it in with my protein. It's not a super high protein, but it's organic fruits and vegetables in there, and it tastes amazing, and it works as a cleanse. So I cycle it in for that reason. So if you want that, I do have to send you a recommendation for it. So you can email Brittany at clientcare@berenewed.com. Britt, if you can put your email in the chat if you want that, or you can respond to the email, whatever works for you. But that is my favorite. You're just taking those tinctures in the morning and in the evening, drinking the beverage and taking the capsules. It is super easy, and I've not really had anybody have massive, hercs, detox reactions from it. But if you want something like, okay, you're thinking, I don't want to do that, sounds like way too involved. I have something called the Daily Bind liposomal from Des Bio. This is just a kind of a one and done. You take a tablespoon. It's pitch black when it pours out. It has milk vessel and charcoal. That's why it's black. This is a really good one. Again, you'll just take a teaspoon, yeah, a teaspoon every single day, and you can do that until you finish it. So if you're looking for something super easy, something that I take, sodium butyrate, I love this product. It's fairly inexpensive. It's good for gut health, digestion. But if you've eaten something you shouldn't have, you go out to dinner, take 2 of these, and it will help clear the toxins from your system. It also helps with appetite and blood sugar balance. So this does it all. So that's what I love. I take my digestive enzyme before I eat, and then if I'm dining out, I take these with me, or if I travel and I take 2 of this, it's called sodium butyrate. So it's a short chain fatty acid is what it is. So this is in our full script. We will set you up in full script. If you're not already in there, we give you a discount because I want to make sure you're not buying from Amazon. There's just too many unknowns. And here's the thing, you should never take more than 30 milligrams of zinc. Now, do you know what type of zinc you should be taking? Most people don't. So zinc picolinate, in my opinion, is far superior. If you're going to go to CVS, you're not going to find probably zinc picolinate necessarily. You're going to find a cheaper form. You shouldn't have more than 30 milligrams. If you're not monitoring all your supplements and know what's going on, you're going to over consume zinc, and again, that will throw your body out of balance. In some cases, it can be dangerous if you're taking too much of a supplement. So those are the things I try to help you monitor. So if I know what you're taking, I can help you and say, okay, yeah, you don't need any more zinc in your supplement. So monitor that closely, especially if you're taking a multivitamin. Okay, sorry,
Okay.
answered that one a little and then some. So what's next question?
Okay, this next question I'm gonna flip here and ask Lisa. So Jody wanted
Oh,
to
good.
know about weights versus cardio, and she said she tries to get 45 minutes of cardio and 15 minutes of weights 4 times a week. Is that a good workout plan? Does she need more weights?
Oh, I'm going to make your day, Jody, I think, unless you're in love with cardio, which most of us are not. Um, I'm going to flip that around on you and say 3 to 5 days a week lifting weights. So it kind of depends on if you want 3 days, you can do your total body every day. Excuse me, those 3 days. If you want to do more, you can split up the areas of your body that you're working on. And I can answer some of that a little bit more specifically if you want to reach out. But when it comes down to the cardio piece, you only really have to do that if we're talking postmenopausal here. You're really looking at about 15 to 20 minutes 2 times a week. That's it. But the cardio that I'm talking about is you go as hard as you can go for a very short period of time, and then you take a break. And then you go as hard as you can go, and then you take another break. And you do that for 15 to 20 minutes. So can we all just go right out there and go crazy hard? No, we have to build up a little bit. So it might be that you do it at your own pace and getting that to where you can get it to where you are really going as hard as you can. I'm talking a 9 or a 10 out of 10 on your effort. That's where that needs to be for 20 seconds or 30 seconds. Your body will tell you what it can handle when you start out. So a lot of times I'll just tell people, set your timer for 20 minutes. And then for that first minute, just do what you can. A minute's a long time, maybe 30 seconds, and then rest for a minute. And then come back in and do that. So there's a lot of, it's called sit training, which is sprint interval training. There's HIT training, which is high intensity interval training. But that only really has to be done like 2 times a week for about 20 minutes. One day of an endurance workout is great for if you want to do a class, like a fitness class with your friends. That's great. That's usually an hour that you get that going for a longer period of time. Bike ride that's longer, swimming that's longer. Otherwise, your strength training lifting is 3 to 5 days out of the week. So I want you to flip your thought on that, and I think your body is going to respond really nicely because in menopause, your cortisol is already elevated, and you're doing all this cardio. Depending on how hard you're going, that's going to jack it up even more. And we don't need that stress hormone being up there that long, that hard. We want to bring it down a little bit. 2 times a week, 20 minutes.
Okay. She said thank you so much. And it
Yes.
does need to be heavy weights.
Heavy for you, yes. The
Heavy for
number
you.
12 through 15 on your reps should be challenging, but keep your good form. When you can buzz past 15, that's when you want to start upping your weight a little bit. But that's how you know if you're heavy enough.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Love it. Yay.
All
Good.
right, thank
Good,
you.
good.
Um, Someone asked, what does, I think Shar said, what does EMF cause? You had talked about it being by your bed and the EMF things. What does that cause?
Yeah, there's a lot, and these are really good questions, guys. You guys are really, I love this. There have been links to cancer. There have been a lot of links to anxiety. For me, I can tell personally, if I'm on too much, I have too much screen time, a direct correlation to anxiety. Brain fog, memory, like, can anybody else think? I'm trying to think of, I mean, there have been all kinds of vision issues. And think about I do test vitamin C in the urine, and I see a lot of people are severely vitamin C deficiency, and that's something to think about. When vitamin C is stored in your eyes, by the way, so if you start having vision problems, that's something to consider. And are you deficient in vitamin C? And again, that type of eye strain, and you can, like on an iPhone, you can, I don't know if you can do this on an Android. I know on an iPhone you can set it for like you're too close to your phone, your screen will go blank and said pull your phone back. So I've been doing that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been way too close to my screen. So again, I have a reader, and it's telling me, and it's not just EMFs are coming from everything. This lamp I have, the outlets, I mean, it's coming. Televisions are horrible. Don't let your kids. That's why when your mom and dad used to say, don't sit too close to the TV, you'll hurt your eyes. Well, it's way more than hurting your eyes. Again, it's impacting learning and memory and cognition and so much more. And again, even some people have said cancer. So, but just impacting the cells in the mitochondria. And it's not normal. It's not safe. Our bodies weren't meant to tolerate this much. And there's EMF protection. So like I've got this little, it's like a necklace thing. You can put, now I have a phone case, so you can't see it, but underneath you can put a little sticker thing to protect yourself. There's now hats, there's shirts. I mean, there's so much EMF protection. I even have a homeopathic tincture that you can take for like $40 to help clear it from your system. So there's all kinds of things you can do. So good questions.
Someone said, how do you do that? I think if you go into your settings, there's somewhere in the general, or you might even be able to do a Google search just to see
Yeah,
like the
I don't
screen, the distance. And
yeah.
I know like at night, I actually turn my phone on red. So that way it's in like a red mode. So you're not getting as much of that blue light.
Yeah, and there's the glasses, the amber blocker glasses that you can wear as well. And most of the regular, if you have prescription glasses, you can get the screen. All mine have the screen for that. Okay.
Okay. Others asked about reversing adrenal fatigue, just showing interest that they are concerned about that and they, wanted some more information, but is it possible to reverse it?
Absolutely. I was in phase three. And when you're in phase three, there's phase one, phase two, phase three. And when you're in phase three, and I've worked with clients that are in phase three as well, and both of us, at different times, of course, but we were both pretty much bedridden. Like I had to leave work, and I had my wellness center at the time. I had to leave work at 2 o'clock. I just couldn't function. She was almost completely bedridden. Phase three adrenal fatigue is like you are knocking on the door to adrenal cancer. Do not underestimate what it is. You need to get your cortisol levels tested. Of course, we test hormone. Typically, I will add neurotransmitters because adrenal fatigue has a lot to do with our emotional status. It is, at the time, my son was going through a lot of challenges. He was, consuming alcohol. He lost his job. I mean, it was just a series of events. And I had that. I was opening up a wellness center at the same time, and my stress level was off the charts. And that's when I ended up in phase three adrenal fatigue. So yes, it's a lot of It's a lot of downtime, it's a lot of supplementation, it's a lot of taking care of you, and it's a lot of mind thought. I went back to school a couple years ago and got certified as a positive intelligence coach to retrain my thoughts because our brain is wired for negativity. And, everything in my world was thinking he's going to die. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? He's going to go to jail. Like it was just this constant, these negative thoughts. And again, that was something I had to undo because again, we carry that with us in every aspect of our lives, if not, and that will shorten your lifespan pretty quickly. So I can help with the emotional side. I'm not a therapist. I will recommend, a lot of people may need a therapist as well or a counselor, but that's something that we have to approach it, the emotional, all three stresses, the emotional and the physical, physiological, chemical, nutritional as well. And again, your body is so depleted at that point. You need massive amounts of nutrients. So
Okay.
yep. So let me know if I can help, just reach out. Like I said, and don't, all we can do is test. And if you're in phase one or phase two, then wonderful. We'll make sure that you don't go into that phase three.
Okay. And does that get worse in menopause? That was a question.
You, you know, I guess it could. Um, but like I said, I was probably perimenopause at that point. And again, I think it goes back, there's a lot of psychology to it and how you're processing events and life more than anything, no matter what phase. Because like I said, I've had, 30-year-olds and 15, 60-year-olds, but I've seen it more honestly in younger women, when I say younger, 30s and 40s. And the medical solution is either steroids or they were trying to put a pacemaker in this girl at 40 years old. And thank God, literally, she came to see me and that did not happen. And within 4 months, she was functional again and not fully functional because it can take a year, anywhere from 2 to 5 years to recover 100%.
All right. Our next question is you had mentioned an adaptogen that you take. What was it called again, and where do you get it?
Yes, it's called Calm. And that's the lemon balm, the ashwagandha, the L-theanine, and the GABA. And again, I've always been a huge fan. The lemon balm I didn't utilize as much, but the other ones I've always been big fans, especially for those with adrenal fatigue. Um, and again, it's this little pouch, pop it under your tongue. You can use it a couple times a day, especially at night. If you're having problems sleeping. And I'm not sure who asked the question. If someone invited you, I've got make affiliates on this call. So if you are associated with someone that invited you to call, get with them. Otherwise, if I invited you or someone else, I will send you the direct link for this. And so you can order it. And who was that asked the question?
I'm looking back right now. I apologize. I didn't write their
Okay.
name down. Oh, Jules.
Tools. Okay.
Jules Biscardi.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm not sure who you were a guest of, but we'll help you out or we'll connect you with whoever and invited you and make sure you get that link. So,
Okay.
okay.
How much water should we drink again?
Until your urine is almost clear. It's not going to be 100% clear, but if it looks like Coke or if it looks like beer, those aren't good things. You need to reevaluate your water consumption, increase your fruits and vegetables, the water-rich fruits and vegetables. Um, and again, it varies by body weight, it varies by age, it varies by activity levels. So there really is well, drink half your body weight. Well, you can say that, but it doesn't really apply if someone is eating a very water-rich, healthy diet. That's too much. So again, we can test if you really want to know, or again, that's a really good gauge is just really looking at and use an electrolyte. Again, we use the hydrated. Again, that's by the same company called Make Wellness. I'm a huge fan. I drink electrolytes. I do mix them up. I do have several that I use. And I use them probably if I'm drinking, I don't know how many times a day, I about 50 to 60%. So like every other glass of water, I put, yay, go Lisa, I put an electrolyte in my glass. It's not a one a day thing. It's probably most days when you're, drinking, about every other glass should contain some type of electrolyte.
Okay. Can you talk about a 5-day fast?
Yes. So I think fasting is a really good thing. Again, I go into it. There's a really fantastic book. I don't know if I have it here, but it's about prayer and fasting. And my husband and I have done it before, and we did the water fast, but we ended it with broth, like a bone broth, which was phenomenal. I'll never forget that feeling the first time you drink the bone broth, and you're just like, oh my goodness. It's just like now you know what people feel like when they starve to death, right? But I mean, the cool part was once you get to that, like that third day, I think is that the magic day? I can't remember now. It's been a while, but and it becomes easy and you don't want to go off it because you feel so good. So again, number one, I have to say, check if you see a medical doctor. I'm not very good at that, but if you do, check with your doctor and see if that's right for you. If you're on prescription medications or any type of prescriptions, that's probably something to consider. Blood sugar, but I think they're wonderful. Again, try it out. Make sure you're with someone that can monitor you, right? To make sure that you're feeling healthy. You're going to have to adjust your physical activity, right? Because you're not necessarily going to want to go out and, run 5 miles. Again, you may need to reduce the amount of physical activity for your own safety. So yeah, I don't really have like a good, like I said, there's a really good book, and that's kind of what it's called. I think it's just called The Power of Prayer and Fasting by Marilyn somebody, can't remember her name. It's an old book. I have it in my archives, but yeah. So yeah, I think it's a good thing, and just try it out and see. If you even do a couple days, I think it's a good reprieve for your body and a good opportunity to rest and repair and rebuild.
Okay. Um, Holly had asked about the red light therapy. She wanted to get some info on that, where you buy it, how it works.
Yes, I use the Life Pro brand. I did a ton of research. Vibration plates, number one, hands down. I highly recommend a vibration plate. Increases bone density, balance, circulation, lymphatic congestion. I do that every day, 10 minutes, phenomenal. So, and they range anywhere from like 125 to, I think we got a little bit higher end, not the highest end. Ours was like around 300 maybe. So you can get any level of those. Life Pro is the only company that offers a complete lifetime warranty. Ours was making a noise. They're like, oh yeah, send it back. We'll give you a new one. I was like, okay. I didn't even question it. They are so good. So I have their red light and their PEMF mat. It's for inflammation, for healing, for regeneration. Um, like I said, there's so many benefits to it, relaxation. And if you are going to buy it, let me send you the coupon code for it, because whatever the sale price is, I can get you like another, depends on what it is, like at least another 10% off with my discount code. So if you are considering that, let me send you the link to that. And like I said, I did a ton of research before I bought the vibration plate. And once I bought the vibration plate, I've been buying other products from them as well.
Okay, great.
Highly recommend. Yeah, get a vibration plate is my go-to. Like I said, love that thing.
Yeah.
It's my lazy woman's exercise some days.
Holly, I made a note to send you the link, so I saw your comment in there.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Holly.
Okay. Let's see. Someone asked what were all the giveaway items in case they wanted to buy them.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, how about if we send you a list?
There you go.
Put everything in there. Yeah, and we'll put the links in there. Yeah, I just tried this. This is Metagenics. Again, this is a healthcare brand, salted caramel, super high protein bar. Just tried this tonight, and that was really good. So yeah, there's some fun stuff in there. Essential oils and the homeopathics. I put some protein samples in there. Tons of fun stuff.
Sorry, I'm just making a note here for Lori. She's curious about the discount as well for the Life Pro.
Okay, Yvonne, you wanted the link to the Life Pro. Is that the vibration plate? Is that what you were?
Yep,
Okay.
for Yvonne too.
Okay, got it.
Lori
Okay.
and Yvonne. Okay. All right.
Anybody else? And you guys can come off mute. You can just chat with me too. Don't be shy.
I know somebody asked about a weighted vest. That was for Lisa.
Okay, yeah, that's Lisa. Who did somebody's still on?
Yeah, I did see it, and I think she's still on here. The weighted vest it's amazing to invest in a weighted vest. And the lowest I've seen is 8 pounds. It is something that it's important to get a weighted vest. And I don't know if I can maybe you have a link, Bonnie, did I send you a link? I'm sorry, I'm off track here. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to send you a link and you can throw it out there to everybody, but they have it on Amazon. The one that I got is filled with sand on the front and the back of the vest so that weight is distributed evenly. You don't want it all in the back like the plates are, like the rucksacks are. So front and back, uh, you want to build up to wearing that vest. So you can wear it a little bit, maybe go down a block and come back and then leave the vest at home and then continue on and start building up as you're doing your walk. It helps with your posture. It helps with the bone density with that weight being on your skeleton up here. It helps with blood flow. It helps with that resistance, that added weight. You're hauling around 8, 12, 15 more pounds than what you normally would. So I use my weighted vest almost every time that I walk, which is almost every single day. I have a 4 mile loop and I use that weighted vest every time. And it took me a little bit to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it feels amazing, especially when you take it off. But it's so very beneficial for your health. But I will send you the link for that so that you can send that out.
Great. Thank
Awesome,
you.
awesome.
Okay.
And if you're requesting anything, just pop your email address. If you have initials and I'm not sure who you are, we don't know, be sure to pop your email in the chat and we'll save the chat so we make sure we don't miss it. And if you don't hear from us again, contact Brittany at clientcare@berenewed.com. So probiotics, we didn't answer that one, did
Nope,
we?
that was my next one.
Okay, cool. So, I rotate. Super important to rotate like anything. You want a variety, you want different strains. I use pure encapsulations. They have a couple. One is called 50B, which stands for 50 billion. I think it's called 50B Ultra. And there's another one called Probiotic GI, and I think that's the same. And then there's one by Clear Labs. So again, every month, and some are going to be more expensive, like the 50B is going to be pretty pricey, but it's a pretty powerful one that is like has to be kept cold. I believe that that's the right one. Yeah. And then the GI is a room temperature one. So depending on if you're, what your lifestyle is, or if you're traveling at that time, I'll use the shelf stable versus the refrigerated ones. So always rotating, but we can, if you're in full script, we'll send you the ones like the top 2 or 3 that I use. And then you can, like I said, decide what you want to order when again, but you really should, change them up so you're getting different strains. I think that's really the key. There's a lot of, like I said, a good ones out there, but just mix it up.
Okay. Looking back to see if I missed
Yeah,
anything.
can you let us know if we missed a question?
Somebody said they're waking 1 to 2 times a night, and they drink a lot of water. What can they do to not wake up at night?
I'm sorry, what's the question? I'm
Sorry,
trying
they
to
had
help
said that
Jenny.
they're waking up 1 to 2 times a night. They drink a lot of water. What can they do to keep from waking up at night?
Um, if they are drinking a lot of water,
They are drinking a lot of water, and they said that they wake up 1 to 2 times a night.
okay, stop drinking lots of water. Would be my first. If there's a bladder issue, that could be, and is trying to think, is Elizabeth still on here? if you do have like if it's a like a bladder infection or just a leaky type or a weak bladder, I should say, or like a UTI situation, I use something called Nephrovesic, and it is a homeopathic tincture. It looks like this, and I mean, it'll stop. I've had men use it that have prostate issues because again, as men get older, they start having issues and they start going to the bathroom much more often. I've got male clients on it. It works great for them too. But on the rare occasions when I've, had that situation where I felt like I was getting like some type of infection, I just took this honestly like one night and it was that fast for me. I don't know if it will be for you, but it works pretty quick. So but again, there could be something more to it. I'd really need probably to do a consultation and understand more as to why that's happening. Again, just sometimes a lot of women I see are over consuming water, and if you don't have the proper amount of electrolytes and minerals, you're not absorbing it, and or could be overconsumption of simple carbohydrates. There's just so many things that could be taking place. So,
I think that was it, unless I missed somebody. If
okay,
anybody else has anything.
awesome. Like I said, y'all can unmute if you want to unmute and say goodbye. You are welcome to. For some reason, it's not
I
letting.
think I just finally figured out how to unmute myself.
Oh, you
This is
did.
Jennifer. Yes, I've won the basket.
Okay, awesome. Now, Jen, what is your last name?
My last name is Jansen.
Oh, Jansen. Okay, I thought you said Gengeli. I'm like, I know Gengeli. Well, congratulations. That's exciting. Make sure you send us your address, so we can send
Yes,
you
how do
your.
what's the best way to do that? Just go, I mean, I took screenshots and I have the links and I took notes, but what would be your preference on where to send my address to?
Yeah, if you can send it to clientcare@berenewed.com.
I'll put it in the chat
Okay.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been
Yeah, you're
amazing.
welcome. And like I
And
said,
I'm a super Life Pro. I'm all the way Life Pro. I love their products too. So, and this has just been amazing. Thank you so much.
oh, you're welcome. How did you find out about this?
I've been following you on Facebook. So
Okay.
I've been taking your advice for a while now, and I hopped on the live just to, be a part of it and ended up winning the basket.
There you go.
My heart is full. I just want to tell you, full heart.
Aw.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. That is awesome. Well, thank you for being a part of it because, I feel like God's given me a gift. And if I don't have anyone to share it with, it's not really a whole lot of
Oh,
fun to talk to
I,
myself and it's not very fulfilling. So I appreciate each one of you ladies and Lisa and Brittany for your help and support in this. Like I said, I couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you so much. So I just wish each one of you a wonderful evening. Any last words? Carolyn, did you want to say anything?
Just thank you, and thank you for just helping me to refresh a lot of this that you've taught me over the years. So some things that you kind of forget, and then it comes back to you. So thank you so much, my sister. I love you so much, and have a good night.
All right. Love you too. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thanks, Bonnie.
good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording. Is